Hello Stampers, my name is Linda Bedinger and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Denver, Colorado. And this is my buddy Puccini. He helps me in the craft room. We've been very spotty on our videos here lately. So much has been going on. As some of you know, I lost my husband 3 years ago. And then last year I lost one of my dearest friends in the world. And she was the last man standing in her family. So I ended up doing all of the estate clearing and clearing her house and selling it and doing all of that stuff. And it came up for air in the spring. And then my son moved back here with his wife and lovely family and my only grandson. And so that has made things even more challenging in a good way, in that there's lots to do with family and helping them getting settled in and taking on some babysitting duties and things like that. And it's just been a challenge to get back to doing my videos on a routine basis. I think I'm very close to having it though, where I've got it on a schedule. And I've got several cards ready to film. This is going to be the first Christmas card of the season. And you know me, I don't like to talk much at the beginning, so let's just get started. And it's a pretty design, and I think you're going to like it. Okay, here is my card. It's actually pretty simple, but I'm really pleased with it. And it says on the outside the Noel, and on the inside it says, "May the beauty of the season fill your heart with joy." And so let me tell you what I used to make this card. I used a regular A2 size card, 8.5 by 5.5, scored and folded at 4 1/4. And so this is all ready to go, just needs to be burnished. There we go. And then you can get this card front piece here. You can get two out of them. Two of them out of a 4 by 5 1/4 piece. And let's see, this one is marked, I think. One of them is marked. Yes. What I did was I measured on one side 2 3/4 on one side, and then the other, this is cut, this is done on a quarter panel, so 4 1/4 by 5.5, right? And so this is 2 3/4 on the one side, so like this. And then this is 1 3/4 on that side. And when you put your little line across here and cut, you get two panels that are exactly the same. And so you need one of these that is 2 3/4 by 1 3/4, and then cut that panel in half so that you get two of these. And your card base, and then this is a 4 by 5 1/4 piece for layering on the inside. Then you need a piece of silver foil. I used a piece that was 2 1/4 by 11, and that allowed me to cut all of these little pieces that I needed. And for one card, I needed 3 of them. So this is enough to make 2 cards. So you could even make this 2 1/4 by 6, and that would be fine. But then you will need another piece of silver, and this is the die set I used. It's called Joy of Noel dies, and it has this die here, which is this little bow that I cut. There it is. And then it has this die, which is the Noel, and that fits neatly on this size as well. And I've already, to save time, I've cut my pieces So I've cut my Noel already. And the only thing that's different about the card that I made for the example to show you and the card that we're going to make today is that I thought it would be kind of fun to add some white in here to add some more depth both on the inside and the outside of the card. So I did cut 2 pieces of that. So for that you need a little bit of white scrap to cut a couple of these pieces out of. This piece is 2 3/4 by 2 1/2, and that easily cuts 2 of these. Okay, and then here's my L, and then I used this ribbon, and I don't know if this is the current one or one that's older, doesn't matter. Anything with white and silver on it will work. And then I embossed my message in silver on the inside, and that message came from this stamp set, which is called Autumn Expressions, and it says, "May the beauty of the season fill your heart with joy." I thought that one was pretty good. So that's what I used to make my card. And like I said, to save a little bit of time, I've already cut my pieces out. So we'll just get on with showing you how to put together. Oh, the other piece that you need is a strip of silver that is, I think I made this 6 inches. Yeah, 6 inches by 5/8 of an inch to run along the edge here. And then I did use the embossing folder that is the pine trees, and it's called, anyway, I'll look it up before I put the video up to tell you exactly what the name of this one is, and it's a 3D embossing folder. Okay, so the very first thing we need to do is emboss this piece, and I used that pine folder, but any old folder will do. And there's my piece there, and I'm going to use this piece, and I'm going to put my little piece of silver along the bottom here. So I'm going to add some adhesive to the bottom of my edge here. There we go, just like that. And then put, well, let's see, I don't know if I got any glue on that end. There we go. All right. And then you just need to set this so that you get an even border across the bottom. Something like that. And then you can use your snips to trim off the excess and get a perfect fit. And there you've got your edge done. And it would help if I cut it straight. Right. So this piece now is going to go on here, and you can see that I put it up on dimensionals. So I'm going to do that. So this piece is going to just fit right up here, snug at the top, fitting all the way across, and then put that piece down. There we go. And that's all there is to that. Now then, my lettering. What I did was I used one of these rulers and put it across here just so that I could get a line for my eye to show what the line is for laying this down straight. So I put a little very light pencil line across the bottom to give me an edge to line up my letters. And so my letters came like this, and I started them pretty far over because the letters are quite big. And The one that's tricky is the O to get it on there straight, but you want to dry fit these so you know exactly where you want to start them so that it fits on here and looks right, doesn't look like you're crowding the edge. And I think I'm going to start with that L just because it's giving me the spacing for the rest of the letters. So I'm going to use my dot runner on this, and I am going to erase that line right towards the end, and I'm going to set this one down right over that pencil line. Maybe without the Puccini fur, what do you think? And there we go. Now my L is down. Now that sets me in a line for exactly how I want to set up the rest of these. Now I'm ready for my E. And I've got the rest of this line to keep track of here. And I'm going to take a little bit of that pencil line off and line up my E right there. And then take off there we go. And you could put liquid glue on this to be able to wiggle these around. That might not be a bad idea. Now my O is only going to have a little piece that's going to be down on the line. So I'm just going to set this up so that the spacing looks good and matches kind of the spacing for this. And put my O in place. The biggest challenging on the O is to get it so that it's straight. There we go. Now I've got an N, and I'm going to add my glue to that and set that down here. Oh, Puccini fur is such a challenge. Get my E down and then erase any line that's left. And there's my Noel reasonably straight. Now on the inside of the card, I put this piece and I just set it down on top without any silver. Now you could make this a lot more rich if you wanted to put silver on either side, and we sure could do that. Let's see, I've got this little piece of silver here that I had. Maybe I'll do that just for grins. We'll add that to the back here on two sides just to add just a touch of richness to this, and we'll put it so that there's hardly any of it showing, but just enough to give it a little bit of an edge. And we'll cut this off. And do the same thing on this other side with another piece. I'll just cut this piece down so that it's, 5/8 of an inch, I think, is all we'll need. And since I plan on making a few of these, I'm going to, don't mind cutting extras on this. Okay, so I'm going to add this so that it's got roughly the same margin as it did on the other side, kind of like that. Put that in place and cut that off. Now we will add this to the inside of the card. You ever noticed when you're making cards that no matter how much space you start out with, you only end up with about a 6 by 6 space in which to work? It's the silliest thing in the world. We just put things down too close. All right, so now this is going to fit on the inside of here with ever so slight a margin on either side, but it adds a little something, doesn't it, to the inside of the card? Yes, I like that a lot. Okay, so next we're going to add some of these silver pieces, and I thought maybe I would do a silver and a white piece and another silver piece right up here. I think that'll work. So I'm going to, well, actually, maybe I'll just do the first one with my dot runner there and get that set into place right there in that corner. And then my white piece right over top of that, and then another silver piece on the end. There we go. And then I need a bow for that end. So I'm just going to make a little bow. Doesn't have to be very big. About like that, I think. And cut those ends. And I'm going to use a couple of glue dots here to put this in place right up here at the top. And then set my bow down right along that edge there. And there's my Noel. Isn't that pretty? I just love the look of this. It's so simple and yet just really, really elegant. Now on the inside, I have another of these silver, which I'm going to add a little bit of this dot runner and put that here like that. And then I should have another white here that I'm going to just set right in here like this. There we go. Now, I did take out some rhinestones, and I do think I'm going to add just a couple. And there we go. Now, I should have done my stamping and my embossing before this. Oh well. So, I have some Versamark. First of all, my embossing buddy, which I'm going to add right up here at the top. And then I have my stamp mounted. Okay, here is my stamp. May the beauty of the season fill your heart with joy. And I'm going to set that down just right in here. Hopefully reasonably straight. If ever in doubt, use a positioning tool to make sure your sentiment is on there straight. Then I have some silver powder. And this really is done much more efficiently if you do this before you put this on your card. But I got carried away, so I'm just going to bend that back and let that powder get on there. Now quiet the video while I set this, and I'll be back in a flash. There is first Christmas card of the season, and I'm really, really pleased with it. I was thinking about my white on white. This might end up being it. I'm not sure. I haven't decided yet. I've got another idea in mind for a white on white that's a little different. We'll have to see. But I think it's a lovely card. It's one that you could do in an assembly line process. You wouldn't have to do the white piece in there. Just the silver alone is really attractive. And on this one I put the rhinestones. On this one I didn't. But I think they're just really a pretty card. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks so much for stopping by my YouTube channel today. I do so appreciate it. As far as Stampin' Up! Is concerned, the new catalog is out, which is kind of fun. And it's got some interesting pieces in it for the holidays. And I will be back soon with more cards, more projects, and more tips. Bye!